Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Coming up tonight, police investigate a homicide on East Street South. Plus, officials promise that port construction disturbance will be minimal. And an educator warns about the challenges of virtual learning. Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs. Topping news tonight, police are investigating a homicide that occurred on Friday night at 9:35 p.m. at a business establishment situated on East Street south of Soldier Road. According to police press liaison ASP Audley Peters, officers responded, and on their arrival they met a large gathering outside the establishment.
They were subsequently directed to the body of a male that was found lying on the ground with apparent gunshot wounds. The initial investigations revealed that the crowd, while gathered, a white vehicle approached them. Two males exited the vehicle armed with firearms and discharged the weapon in the direction of the group, hitting the male that succumbed to his injuries on scene.
With the murder taking place at an apparently large gathering close to curfew, Peters sent out a warning to members of the public.
The number of persons that may be at these establishments that may cause the spread of the virus itself, hampering or delaying the opening of the country, which would be a detriment to the benefit of all. And thirdly, persons should do their part in alleviating the country's burden with respect to this COVID-19 situation that we're faced with. 3 Exuma men are missing at sea. Police say Aaron Roll of Georgetown Exuma and 2 other fishermen were last seen on November 26, leaving the government dock in Georgetown on a 55-foot fishing vessel en route to Waters Key in the Ragged Island chain. The men were scheduled to return on December 1st, but they haven't turned up. Investigations into this matter are ongoing. Construction of the new Nassau cruise port officially began this past week, and with the major work beginning, some have questioned whether the major work will cause a disturbance to downtown businesses. Jasmine Brown has the answer in this report.
The driving of guide piles into the Nassau Harbor seabed is not exactly an easy or quiet task. That process began this past Monday, signaling the beginning of construction of the port. With such a huge task now underway, Director of Projects and Facilities at Nassau Cruise Port Limited, Lionel Turnquest, says those who work in the downtown area may feel the vibrations.
They could, depending on if what type of strain of rock we hit. Obviously, again, in the Bahamas, we have, even though everybody knows predominantly limestone, we do come across other strains of rock, and when you have that vein, it may get harder, and you may start feeling a difference in the frequency, so then you start feeling vibrations.
The piling process began after the demolition of the Festival Place building and old customs warehouse. The piling operation includes the use of a vibratory hammer to put the pile guides into the seabed. Turnquest said when the sheet piles are driven 80 feet into the seabed, the construction will become very noisy for those in the vicinity of the port.
When I say noisy, it is annoying rather than noisy, I would say. Because now it's like somebody sitting there and rapping on the table inside your office. It just becomes annoying after a while hearing the same rap, rap, rap. It's basically what you're up against.
As for what's next for the project,
within about 2, maybe 3 weeks, we will start the pier extension on the outer pier. Piling operations are coming right behind each other. It's just that at the beginning, obviously, there's a learning curve of getting comfortable with the different persons in the team. It's like playing basketball or any other game. You start off, you get the team together, everybody gets flowing, and then things start to pick up the pace and it all gels.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Outspoken Pine Ridge MP Frederick McAlpine is hitting out at those waivers granted to travelers going to some family islands, noting that it seems government demands so much from Bahamians and so little from foreigners. Bertha McDermott reports.
Following the revelation that waivers were granted to some foreign travelers, outspoken FNM MP Frederick McAlpine says there seems to be a double standard.
It seems like this government demands so much of us and so little of those from foreign. That is very sad.
His comments come days after the Nassau Guardian reported that some travelers to Long Island were granted waivers and weren't required to undergo a rapid antigen test 5 days after arrival. When pressed on the matter, Tourism Minister Dionisio Diagla confirmed that waivers were being granted, adding that testing wasn't being done on a number of islands.
They demand so much of us in terms of testing. They demand so much of us in terms of quarantining. They demand so much of us and so little of persons who are visiting our shores. I really wish, and I mean this significantly, I really wish that the Bahamians can have an opportunity in their land that has been afforded to foreigners.
The outspoken MP also hit out at Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, who last weekend traveled to Exuma, Rumkey, and Cat Island. Before that, Dr. Minnis also traveled to San Salvador. The opposition has condemned the travel, charging that the Prime Minister is using the emergency powers to campaign.
Given the fact that he is Prime Minister, I understand that he has to travel, and then sometimes he may have to go for official capacity. But I didn't see anything majorly happening in Cat Island or Rumkey or San Salvador, other than him running on the beach and talking to some fellas. So I didn't see anything of governmental significance that would have caused him to have to be on those islands.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Public Service and National Insurance Minister Brensel Roll revealed yesterday that hundreds of NIB benefit checks remain uncollected.
There are hundreds of individuals who have not collected their checks.
In March, the government launched an unemployment benefits program to assist workers impacted by the ongoing global COVID-19 pandemic. Since then, thousands of people have relied on the program as a means of income. As a part of the process, officials have been publishing the names of workers whose checks were ready in the newspapers and on social media. However, Rule said that it has not been enough, as some people have simply not come to collect their money.
We've advised the public. We've tried to call individuals based on the number of contacts that we had, yes, but there are a number of persons who have not collected their checks or benefits from the board as yet.
With a recent increase in homicides, members of the National Neighborhood Watch Council are asking for more autonomy, especially during lockdowns and curfews. George O'Bain reports.
With the holiday season just a few weeks away, co-chair of the National Neighborhood Watch Council, Kino Wong, says many communities that are a part of the council are doing their part to prevent crime. So far, Wong says the council has been making tremendous strides in this fight.
Many of our communities that are a part of the Neighborhood Watch have seen a tremendous downturn in their communities. Now, there are communities that faces a spike in crime because of selfish attitudes, people that do not know how to handle hatred activities. And so we continue to encourage those communities to get on board, because we realize that when communities are on board, we find that these communities are in a better position to fight against the element of crime.
There is one thing the council feels it needs to better assist in the fight against crime, and that's the ability to patrol their neighborhoods during curfew and lockdowns.
Giving us the autonomy to become more aggressive in terms of allowing us to be in our communities, especially when the lockdown is down or curfew, to allow us to patrol our communities, because who knows the community better than us? We know our communities better than anybody.
Co-chair Alicia Hart encourages neighborhoods that have not yet signed up for the council to do so, especially ahead of the holiday season when crime usually spikes.
Bahamians throughout the length and breadth of the Bahamas, it is not an initiative for New Providence, it's an initiative for the country. We encourage you all to join us, and joining is very simple. You call one of the coordinators or you call the Ministry of National Security and you advise them that you're interested. We will assist as it relates to helping to formulate your groups in your community. We will also assist with training for you. So these are some of the perks of being a part of the National Neighborhood Watch Council. Even beyond that, we are all interested in safeguarding our families, safeguarding our homes, safeguarding our country overall. So those who are like-minded, it teaches you strategies as relates to how exactly to do that in your communities.
Reporting for Our News Weekend Edition, I'm Georgie O'Bain.
Still to come on Our News, which vaccine is best? And the police commissioner has a stern warning for Bahamians.
Just when you thought the year would end drought, Rev came through with Magic and Holiday Cheer. Our cashback will double, making more spirits rise, with chances to spin and with a dope random prize. The rules are quite simple. You can find them online. Just sign up for Trio and pay your Rev bill on time. Our grocery store dash is sure to bring smiles as 16 lucky winners tear through the aisles. Call 601-8992 or visit rev.bs/promotions to find out how you can win with Rev's Field of Magic giveaway. Rev, you and us, together.
Welcome back. Oxford, Moderna, or Pfizer. With so many COVID-19 vaccines in the works, many are weighing in on which one the Bahamas should use. Well, the Bahamas Doctors Union president said it will all come down to the data behind the drug and the logistics of implementing it in the Bahamas. Jillian Gray has that.
Amid debate over which COVID-19 vaccine should be used in the country, Bahamas Doctors Union President Dr. Melisande Bassett said the answer is simple. Look at the data.
If a study comes out that says that 50% of the people ended up with a stroke, you know that's not something we're going to prescribe or I'm going to prescribe to my patients. Even 10% is too high. So we look at the percentage when we prescribe any medication. So this what I'm advocating is how we approach this scientifically and not how we feel and not what pseudoscientists are out there saying.
The government has made a $250,000 down payment to secure 80,000 doses of a COVID-19 vaccine when one becomes available, and is aiming to vaccinate 20% of the population in the first phase, according to Health Minister Renward Wells. With some vaccines boasting a 95% success rate, Dr. Bassett said there are drugs out there to consider. She added that as all of the vaccines would require some level of cold storage, infrastructure would need to be put in place.
Now, how we get this to the Family Islands is going to pose a bigger challenge and a bigger question. You have to consider the type of gloves the persons have to wear, because if you touch equipment or anything at that level, you run the risk of freezing off a limb, a finger, a digit.
Her advice to those who are skeptical about the vaccine is to go and look at the data and ask your doctor about what you don't understand. As COVID-19 cases continue to decline, Dr. Bassett is warning that in order to keep it that way, Bahamians should remain cautious of traveling and mingling with others.
You could skip that party. You could skip that nightclub going out drinking. My question is, where are you finding money from to buy drinks and to go out? That shows a lack of understanding as to everybody's role in this fight against COVID. Every little thing that you do has a ripple effect to the persons around you. One person can affect 20. One person can affect 50 when you do contact tracing.
Reporting for our News Weekend, I'm Jillian Gray.
Police Commissioner Paul Roll is warning civilians against confronting police officers. Roll made the comment as he was asked about a confrontation between a woman and a female officer at a nightclub on November 17th.
We have our duties to do, and the law provides for police officers to use force if necessary. We hate to have to do that, but you know, when things happen, and people a lot of times they get a little inebriated, and that's no excuse as far as I'm concerned, because you can't expect to just assault an officer because you're drunk and don't have the officer take action.
In the video, a woman and an officer get into a confrontation as the woman and dozens of others are ordered out of a nightclub. The video caused controversy, with many criticizing the police officer for pulling the woman's hair. Meanwhile, Roll says there has been a reduction in social gatherings.
We have seen a marked decrease in the amounts of incidents. Every week it keeps getting less and less, and that's a good sign. I think I like what I'm saying. Because, you know, we don't have to be constantly, you know, confronting persons for those breaches.
When our news comes back from the break, an educator has advice when it comes to virtual learning. Stay with us.
Just when you thought the year would end dry, Rev came through with Magic and Holiday Chair. Our cashback will double, making more spirits rise, with chances to spin and with a dope random prize. The rules are quite simple. You can find them online. Just sign up for Trio and pay your Rev bill on time. Our grocery store dash is sure to bring smiles as 16 lucky winners tear through the aisles. Call 601-8992 or visit rev.bs/promotions to find out how you can win with Rev's Field of Magic giveaway. Rev, you and us, together.
Welcome back. The semester is winding down for students across the country, and it has been anything but ordinary. From early struggles with online learning platforms to a possible return to in-person learning, teachers and students have been through their share of challenges. And it's not over yet. Christina Dragovich tells us more.
Control what you can, be supportive, be there encouraging them. And you know what? And if the grades aren't the way you'd like them to be, it's okay. Right? It's okay. We just don't have the resources and supports right now. Everybody's doing the best they can.
Psychologist Dr. Michelle Major says teachers, parents, and students have had a stressful time with virtual learning over the past year. Teachers never imagined they would be instructing virtually. Students were not prepared to spend their school day on devices, and parents couldn't conceive that they too would become teachers.
We're seeing parents who are very frustrated. You know, they're done, right? And they're having to sacrifice for either their child's needs in order to, work, and vice versa, right? And so we're seeing a lot of tension in the home, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress.
That stress has impacted how teachers teach and how students learn.
In a typical classroom, you can fidget, you can move. There are activities where you engage hands-on, you have breaks, and so children no longer have that outlets. We're seeing some underlying pinnings psychologically that kids are also engaging differently than they would in a classroom.
Dr. Major's advice, work with what you have and consider lowering expectations, because the fact is, virtual learning does not work for everyone.
In the scheme of things of life, this is one pin drop in our whole lifetime, right? Our children may not get the grades that they would have if they were in person. They may not, achieve or behave the way you think that they should, but it's also not fair to judge them this year.
Thanks, Christina. Well, a company is offering a Christmas promotion for $30,000 in cash and prizes. Find out more when our news returns.
Just when you thought the year would end drear, Rev came through with Magic and Holiday Cheer. Our cashback will double, making more spirits rise, with chances to spin and with a dope random prize. The rules are quite simple. You can find them online. Just sign up for Trio and pay your Rev bill on time. Our grocery store dash is sure to bring smiles as 16 lucky winners tear through the aisles. Call 601-8992 or visit rev.vs/promotions to find out how you can win with Rev's Field of Magic giveaway. Rev, you and us, together.
Sun Oil is giving away $30,000 in cash and prizes during its Christmas promotion. Those prizes include utility bill payments, housing stipends, grocery gift certificates, fuel vouchers, and much more. Marketing manager Rufus Johnson Jr. explains.
In our environment, what brings joy to us is bringing joy to our customers. And so we've decided to put together a package of over $30,000 in cash and prizes to issue over the next few weeks. So every single week, we will be giving away thousands of dollars in prizes. We'll be assisting in paying rent, utility bills. Every single week, someone will walk away with a month's free fuel for their vehicle. It's just tons of prizes.
Johnson says they're also aiming to help students who may be in need.
Recognize the shortage in tablets and online learning devices for children to engage in school. And so every week we'll be giving away several tablet packages to deserving customers and children out there that are in need to get online and be educated during this challenging time. And so we're just happy to be able to enjoy and be a part of this.
Zelma Wilson won a tablet for her autistic nephew through the promotion. She says she's excited to give it to him.
You have persons who are able to function with autism. And so with Christopher, he's functional. He's able to utilize electronics, and he loves electronics. So I can't wait to see his reaction when he receives this tablet.
Thank you for joining us for Our News Tonight. To catch our news on the go, download the Rev Go Play app. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Jared Higgs. Have a beautiful weekend, Bahamas.